Welcome traders. This is the market update video for the week ending July 2nd, 2021. What a summer it has been. Some markets we have been threatening all-time highs. In fact, the S&P 500 US stock market index is at all-time highs, while other markets have backed off that, but still have found good support. But before we jump into the markets as a whole, this week we're going to look at another variation of a trend establishing breakout. If you guys remember the first video that I had done a few weeks ago, we had looked at the question, what establishes a trend? What establishes a trend? And the variation that we were looking into at that point was an established trend breakout. So real quick, a recap of what an established trend breakout was. We have a swing high, a swing low. We have a new swing high, which takes out the previous swing high. We have a swing low that does not take out the previous swing low. And the price takes out the previous swing high, establishing a trend in this direction. So that is what an established trend breakout was. This is what we covered a few videos ago. So today we're going to look at the second and final variation of a trend establishing breakout, and this one is called two or more price structural failures. Two or more price structural failures. So again, this is the second and final variation of a trend establishing breakout, and let's jump into it. So here's how it looks like. Again, we have the same setup as a established trend breakout. We have a swing high, a swing low, a higher high, and a higher low. If I can draw this properly. Then we have a higher low here. And then what we have here is we have another higher high, and this time the market takes out the previous two swing lows. The market takes out the previous two swing lows. This is a pretty steep drop, isn't it? I'm going to erase this, and what would more realistically happen is we have these two levels got taken out by this lower low, potentially signaling a turning point and a downtrend. But now what happens is the previous higher high gets immediately taken out, signaling that we are continuing on the original trend, establishing that breakout. So we have a lower low taking out the previous two swing lows, and then we have a higher high that takes out the previous swing highs, establishing this trend to the upside and continuing this trend. So let's do this with a downtrending market. So we have a swing low, swing high, a lower low, a lower high, and we have, again, another lower low, and this time we take out the previous two swing highs, but immediately after, we establish the trend by taking out the previous two swing lows, continuing in the established trend to the downside. So this signals that there are two price structural failures which establish the current trend. So let's take a look at how this looks in the market, shall we? So this is an excellent example of this working in the markets. So we're looking at the Euro USD here from last fall. So looking at this swing low, we have a swing high, we have a higher low, we have a higher high, and then we have a swing low that takes out the previous two levels. And then we have a swing high which establishes the trend to the upside. And so this, again, is called two or more price structural failures, variation 6. Take a look and see if you can spot this pattern happening in real time in the markets, where there is a break, where there is a price structural failure, but then immediately after, the trend continues in the direction that it was originally in. So that's the variation topic for today. Let's jump into the market update, shall we? So first, let's move to current day for the Euro USD. So where are we with this? We had entered short earlier this week, and we moved the stop loss to 1.1914, right around here. And we're going to continue to take this short until we get a signal to exit. There is diminishing OE to the downside, but this is a good trade that we have entered so far in Euro USD. Dollar franc swing low was confirmed late last week, but no trigger as of yet to enter long, even though there is plenty of OE to the upside. Next, pound dollar. There was a swing high that was confirmed in early June. Even though it was still in the accumulation phase, after a few days, it did have that big move to the downside. It found some support at this level, retraced a little bit, and is continuing to explore more price to the bottom. No trade as of yet, though, for the pound dollar. Next, let's go to the dollar yen. And here we have been in a continued uptrend since late May. We are hitting the March resistance levels, and it's going to be very interesting to see what it does from here, if it breaks through this resistance level or has to go further down to pick up more buyers before it breaks through. Next, the Aussie dollar. We had entered short, and we are now trailing this trade at the high of this bar. And so we're going to take a look at this early next week, actually on Sunday, on our live trading room, to see if we can continue to take advantage of this trade if it moves to the downside, or whether we're going to be stopped out. Next, the euro yen. We had closed a long position that we had entered, and well, we had taken two trades. Trade from last week, we had closed a long position, and this week we have entered a short position with a trailing stop, and it is finding some support. but there is definitely some OE to the downside for the euro yen. Next, moving to the FTSE, we had a steep drop, the largest drop in a month, finding some support in this area, and a higher high. So it's going to be interesting to see how it reacts if the price does hit this resistance level that it bounced off of very precipitously earlier this month. So we're going to be keeping a close eye out on the FTSE. Next, the Dow US average, again threatening the all-time highs, moved very well off of the lows. We had a swing low confirmed for earlier this month. So again, we're going to be keeping a close eye on this to see if there's any opportunity for us to take this trade to the upside. Next, let's take a look at oil. It is pumping. It is going, and no entry as of yet, but very bullish on oil since late May. So for over 6 weeks, it has been, other than a couple days where there were some red bars. In fact, this one, we had 2 red bars. Otherwise, very bullish. Coffee. We are in a compression phase since hitting some highs in late May. No trade as of yet for coffee. Next, we move to gold. Backed off some highs from the previous last year plus, finding some support in this area around the 1760, 1775, 80 area. Very interesting to see how it will move from here. Definitely in an accumulation phase. We're going to be keeping a close eye out on gold and silver as well, which reacted very similarly to gold. So we're going to be taking a look at if there's any trade opportunities for us to enter this. Actually, silver, we were stopped out on a short as it's finding some good support at the 25.6 area. So that's it for the market update. Let's pull up the trade performance for this past week. Here we go. No trade for the primary runners in the live trading room. Liftoff 3.2 with 20% OE. A slight loss, negative 0.53%. Liftoff 70% OE, negative 0.2%. Cash in 4.0 TSL primary, negative 1%. Cash in 4.0 one-day exit, negative 0.87%, excuse me. So for a total loss of negative 2.6% if you had entered all of those trades with us. Next, the MTM Elite Room. No trades other than in the cash in 4.0 100 pip strategy. That yielded a 0.4% overall. So overall for the MTM Elite Room, we had 0.4%. So as we say here, our strategies are built to perform over the long term. And so stick with it. And there are going to be days where you're going to have some drawdowns. But at the end of the day, at the end of a few weeks, at the end of a few months, you're definitely going to see those returns. So stick with it, guys. Hope you learned something new today. We're excited to continue to grow this team, continue to test out new strategies and provide them for you guys. So thank you all for tuning in. Over and out.